Welcome to ADHD Whiskey. My name is Matt, and this video is naming my top 23 American whiskeys of 2023. American whiskeys consists of bourbons and ryes, Tennessee whiskeys, American single malts, corn whiskeys, wheat whiskeys, light whiskeys. Those types of whiskeys would be eligible for this list. And like in years past, in order to be eligible to make this list, I must have been able to acquire a bottle. A sample bottle of a whiskey would not suffice. I would have to be able to acquire a bottle myself in order for it to be eligible for this list. So these are the top 23 American whiskeys I was able to get my little paws on in 2023. Before I get started with the list, I want to tell you this. There were two bottles that I originally had on my list that I removed for two specific reasons. First of all, Russell's Reserve 13 year. I chose to remove this because I know all of you turkey nerds in the comments will be like, that laser coat is from 2022, you idiot in a blue jacket, and you would be right. This is a 2022 release, but if this specific batch were released in 2023, it would have made the top 10. And also not eligible was a recent bottle that was gifted to me by the most glorious people on the friggin' planet, Dan and Julie, got me my dream bottle. They literally gifted me a King of Kentucky, which is the best bourbon of 2023, but since it is so scarce and so hard to get, so hard to come by, and so expensive if you were to purchase it anywhere but a store for MSRP, I'm going to make it ineligible for this list, but let it be known, this is the best whiskey I tried in 2023. I'm about to start with number 23, but let me first tell you about today's video sponsor. It starts with a Z. Today's video is brought to us by our great friends at ZBiotics. ZBiotics is the world's very first pre-alcohol probiotic drink. And this little baby was engineered by PhD scientists to help you feel better the day after drinking. How exactly does it work? I'm not a PhD scientist, but apparently when you drink alcohol, a toxic byproduct builds up in the gut. And it's this byproduct and not dehydration that's to blame for the rough next day. ZBiotics produces an enzyme to break down that byproduct in the gut so that you can give the day after drinking a 1-2 punch. A lot of people are trying to start the new year off right, and nobody's doing anything productive if they're feeling like poo. And with a 100% money back guarantee, there's no risk to see if ZBiotics is good for you. So click my link in the description below. Scan this QR code on the screen or go to zbiotics.com/ADHD. Use code ADHD at checkout and you'll save 15% off your first order of ZBiotics. We may not be smart enough to know how to create something like ZBiotics, but we're darn sure smart enough to drink one of these before we start drinking. Thank you so much, ZBiotics, for sponsoring the video, and thank you all out there for supporting the people who support the channel. Now, let's get to the top 23 whiskeys of 2023, according to me, ADHD Whiskey. Number 23, Old Ezra 7-year full proof straight rye whiskey. Number 22, Ben Holiday, bottled in bond, straight Missouri bourbon. Number 21, Booker's 2023-01 Charlie's Batch. A Booker's actually made an ADHD whiskey list of positive things. Heck yeah, way to go Jim Beam. Number 20, Larceny Barrel Proof Batch C923. Number 19, Remus Repeal Reserve number 7. Number 18, Bardstown Bourbon Company Discovery Series number 10. I didn't get a chance to try the 11 this year, but from what I understand, Bardstown Bourbon Company Discovery Series number 11 is super good, and a lot of people had it higher than number 10. Am I a little bummed that I didn't get my hands on a Series 11 this year? Yes, but Series 10 was good enough to come in at number 18 on my best American whiskeys of 2023. Number 17, Larceny Barrel Proof Batch B523. Now, if you happen to watch my live stream where I blinded my top 24 whiskeys of 2023 and you see that these are in a different order, that's because the blind tasting only plays a little bit into the ranking of how I actually place these whiskeys in a list. Just because something does well in a blind tasting in one night when you're surrounding it with 23 other pours doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna be your favorite on a different night. Things get a bit messy in a blind tasting that's that large. Although I did take into consideration that blind tasting, it didn't necessarily move anything around in my final list too far. Number 16, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Batch A123. At number 15, Woodford Batch Proof 2023 release 124.7 proof. Dang good bottle. At number 14, Maker's Mark Cellar Aged. Did this Maker's Mark perform exceptionally well in that blind tasting? Yes, it did. Hopefully Maker's Mark continues to release these cellar-aged products every year because guess what? Best Maker's Mark they've ever made, in my opinion. Coming in at number 13 is Jack Daniel's 10-year Tennessee whiskey. I'm loving the return of all these age statements, and the Jack Daniel's 10-year is one hell of a whiskey. Coming in at number 12 is Michter's 10-year straight rye whiskey. Just picked this bottle up in the last couple of weeks. Love it. Can't wait to review it for you all. Coming in at number 11 is a bottle that I overpaid for. This is their third release of the year and the only release of theirs that I got my hands on this year. This is Stag Batch 23C. Review on this bad boy coming soon. Now it's time for the top 10. My top 10 American whiskeys of 2023. Coming in at number 10 is an underdog with a big bite. I did a barrel pick with these folks in 2023, and the overwhelming opinion on that product was it was amazing. But they also make a batched product, and their second ever release, the 2023 version of Boulder Cask Strength, is ridiculously good. It's a bit higher malt than most bourbon whiskeys. It is distilled and aged in Colorado for 6 years, and it is like a dark chocolatey, high malty twist on the traditional bourbon whiskey. This is by far my favorite Colorado whiskey, and it really is bourbon done right. If you're able to get your hands on a Boulder Cask Strength, pick one up for sure. You won't be disappointed, unless of course you suck. Just joking. Unless of course you're an idiot. Coming in at number 9, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Batch C923. I got the A222 laser code in case anybody was wondering, which I'm sure some of you are and some of you aren't, because half of you care and half of you are like, that's so stupid that you're even considering the thought of talking about laser codes. But just so I'll only get 6 or 7 questions in the comments regarding which laser code it is, because they didn't watch the part where I went on and on about the laser code, which is what I'm doing right now. This is the A222 version. I didn't try anything other than this year that I know of, but it is super freaking good, and I'm extremely happy that Elijah Craig Barrel Proofs are back, baby, because this is a banger of a bottle. Absolutely love it. Coming in the 8th spot is a whiskey that not a lot of people talked about this year because it kind of flew under the radar. It was released in Tennessee only and at the gift shop at the distillery. When I was there in January 2023, I was able to pick one up, and holy crap, every time I taste it, I'm like, dang. In the gigantic blind tasting, it did tremendously well. Tremendously well? Is that how you say it? Tremendously well? Whatever. Coming in at number 8, Jack Daniel's Distillery Series Straight Tennessee Whiskey finished with toasted pecan wood chips. Pecan, however you want to say it, doesn't change the fact that it is ridiculously good. 120 proof of pecan wood finished, delicious Tennessee straight whiskey. Was it released in October 2022? That's what it says on the label, but I didn't get a bottle until January 2023. So it made the list even though it probably technically didn't deserve to because of when it was released, but still. My list, my rules, bitches. Coming in at number 7 is a lot of people's favorite bourbon of 2023. The bottle I got was later in the year, actually within the last few weeks, and may not be as good as some of the single barrels that were released earlier in the year. Coming in at number 7, Michter's 10-year bourbon. Absolutely love it. It's phenomenal, ridiculously oaky, ridiculously good. But due to the single barrel variation, it fell from top 3 stuff up to number 7. When I reveal number 6 on my list, you'll be like, Matt, why is that such a tiny little bottle of number 6? Well, let me explain. When I run across a bottle of this, I will buy it. And I will run across a bottle of it. I know I will. When I made a video in the past, about 35 people reached out and they were like, Matt, if you want a bottle, I'll get you one for MSRP. But I chose to forego all the shipping stuff, and I told myself when you see one in the wild, you'll pick it up. That time has not come yet, but I know it will. And since I would have been able to acquire one for MSRP had I just said yes to one of the many emails I received, I'm making it eligible for this list, and coming in at number 6 is Remus Gatsby Reserve 2023 release. I do believe that this received my highest score of the year during my initial tasting when I was recording. I'm well aware of that, but these top 6 whiskeys are so close and so good that it's really hard to put them in a correct order based off my initial tasting scores alone. So number 6, Remus Gatsby 2023 release. Coming in at number 5, it's a craft banger, 13th Colony Double Oaked. 136.8 proof. This baby is like friggin' ground zero explosion of a bourbon. So many flavors packed in here, so much proof, so much power, so much punch. And if you know me, you know that I don't typically love that double oaked flavor profile, but this 13th Colony varietal of a double oaked product hits me right and love it. It's number 5 in 2023. Number 4 is my favorite wild turkey product released in the last several years that doesn't have bottled and bond 17 year attached to its name. Coming in at number 4, Russell's Reserve Single Rickhouse Camp Nelson F. And the F stands for friggin' delicious. This is like the most quintessential delicious classic bourbon whiskey that just hits you right and does everything on the palate that you want the best bourbons to do. So freaking good. Was I happy about what I had to pay to get a bottle of this? No. But that doesn't change the fact that it is an amazing bourbon. Congrats, Wild Turkey, Russell's Reserve Single Rickhouse, Camp Nelson F. Number 4 on my list of best American whiskeys in 2023. Number 3 on my list, Lucky 7, the Proprietor 15 year. I reviewed this bad boy earlier in 2023 and I absolutely loved it. If you go back to 2022 and 2021, you'll see a theme. Some of my favorite bourbons on the market are high-aged Barton sourced whiskeys. And this 15-year, 120 proof Proprietor from Lucky 7 is rumored to come from that distillery. And I absolutely love this stuff. Lucky 7 15-year Proprietor is so stinking good. Hopefully in 2024, we'll still see more 15 and 16-year Barton products that are released, at barrel strength or somewhere in that sweet spot of proof, because I am a sucker for them and I absolutely love them. I love them so bad. Lucky 7 Proprietor 15 year, number 3. The runner-up, number 2 on my list, comes from a little town in Tennessee that is responsible of some of 2023's most phenomenal whiskey. I haven't seen any of these bottles hit the shelves in Colorado yet, but from my understanding, they're going to be a nationwide release that's on the shelves all the time. Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye whiskey is absolutely remarkable. I can't wait to see this all over shelves, all over the place. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed that I'll be able to do a single barrel selection of this in 2024, because that would make my friggin' day. Jack Daniel's knocking it out of the park. But before they knock it all the way out of the park, we might as well stay in that park, because my number 1 whiskey that's not named King of Kentucky, my whiskey of the year, is from that same town in Tennessee, Lynchburg's finest, Jack Daniel's 12-year Tennessee whiskey. It says limited release, and it was. I wish that there were more of these available. They said that they made a bunch, but I wish they made more. And hopefully going into 2024, they're more readily available on the shelves. Hopefully they can ramp up production of this. Hopefully they have more 12-year-old and older barrels so they can make more and more of these bottles, because I tell you what, Jack Daniel's 12-year Tennessee whiskey at 107 proof is absolutely glorious. It hits me in all the spots I want to be hit. It's sweet, it's got barrel influence, it's complex, and that's why Jack Daniel's 12-year-old Tennessee whiskey is my 2023 whiskey of the year. Congrats, Jack Daniel's. Holy crap, that is 4 whiskeys in the top 23 and 3 in the top 10. Holy moly, Tennessee whiskey. Like Tennessee whiskey. That is my list, that is my order. I know that in the comments below, people will be telling me that my list sucks because it's made up of a ton of whiskey that people can't get or get their hands on. I totally understand that, and I'm sorry if that's the case. But when it comes to me, what I want to do is be able to give the best list I can give based off of the whiskeys I was able to obtain a bottle of somehow in 2023. And to be extra transparent, on this list, my top 23 whiskeys of 2023, 17 of these I paid for myself. 3 of the bottles were gifts from either patrons or viewers or friends. And these 4 bottles were sent to me by the distilleries. I'm just trying to be extra transparent so you know what's happening over here. These 4 were sent by the distilleries. 3 were gifts and the other 17 I paid for out of Porter's little pocket. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. Hit the thumbs up if you haven't hit the thumbs up yet. Let's make the comment section of this video worthwhile. If there's something that was not on this list that you know I can get my hands on relatively easily, put that in the comments below so I know that it's something I need to try. Something that isn't impossible to find or buy. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Matt. This is ADHD Whiskey. Like I always say, keep your head in the clouds but your mind on making a list that nobody will agree with. Sometimes you can't make everybody happy. Sometimes you can't make anybody happy. But with this list of 23 whiskeys that I was able to acquire in 2023 that I felt suitable for the best of 2023, I did please one person, and that person was me. And if you can't make somebody happy with the whiskey list, then make somebody happy with the honey-do list. Cross some stuff off the honey-do list this week. Make your spouse happy. Take out the garbage. Clean up your corner of the room that you throw all your underpants in. Get rid of some cardboard boxes. Light a candle after you poop. Just do something that your significant other will be like, wow, they did that, finally. And I love them for that. Goodbye.